They've removed all taxes and precious metals, for example, from taxes from precious metals. Alabama, now protects gold and silver buyers from state legal tracking, which I think is a really good thing. This is what I call economic decentralization, for example. Now, would you support your state making silver legal tender again? I would. Type yes in the comments or no in the chat, for example. So what does this mean for you, for example, right now? This battle is just beginning, and here's why it matters. If the Feds, for example, and other central banks win, your wealth becomes programmable. Paper assets tied to digital ID systems. Inflation quietly eats away at your savings. If we win, we move to an asset-backed value. Silver and gold, for example, regains their historic role. You regain financial freedom and privacy as well, which I think is important. So why do I believe that stacking gold and silver is not just for wealth, but for sovereignty? So before I leave you tonight, I want you to think about 3 powerful resources. One of them is I've got a free stacking calculator which you can download here, which you can track your monthly silver and gold strategy, for example. I've also created a Sound Money Survival PDF, which is a guide for you to download about what's coming and how to prepare. There's also a link here for trusted dealers when you're looking at gold and silver. There's lots of trusted dealers. I've just mentioned a few, for example. So I would love to hear your feedback, and also what I want to do is for us to look at creating a community. Like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Join me as I go live daily, and you'll receive weekly, daily silver and gold alerts, for example. So tell me in the comments, should we really be looking at silver more than gold? I believe we should look at both, for example, right now. Tomorrow I am going to be going live, and I'm going to be talking about a survival guide, because really what I saw of what happened in Spain and Portugal, it made me really, and I really have been talking about community since last year, that we should be really building a community with where we actually live as well as online, but I'm talking about where we live, because there's no kind of like fire drill, or there's no sort of action plan or steps that if the grid goes down, what do we do? Because people weren't able to access cash machines, they weren't able to get cash out the bank, they were left quite vulnerable. It must have been very scary for them. But if you've got a community, then you can work together and build a strong system, but also have a checklist of items that you need for when the emergency goes down,